Hello everyone, my name is Oliver from Lux Trading, and today I'm here with one of the co-founders of our broker Global Prime, Jeremy Kingslinger. Welcome on the show, Jeremy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, to sort of start this and introduce yourself, can you tell me what is it that you actually do at Global Prime?
Sure. So I'm one of the founders of Global Prime, and my role is really, apart from the general management of the entire business, it's really focused on the retail side of the business. So supporting the clients, making sure that everybody's looked after, ensuring that the liquidity is looking good, and that our clients are really happy with the services.
Thank you. How long has Global Prime been on the market so far?
So it's been almost 10 years. In a couple of months, we hit the 10-year mark. So almost a decade. I'm 38 now, so I must have been 28 when I first started. So a lot's changed since then.
A whole decade of working with this company. So you guys are on the market for quite a while. I want to ask, how are you guys regulated?
Sure. So we're regulated in a few different jurisdictions. In Australia, we're regulated with ASIC, which is the Australian. Then there's Vanuatu as well, and that's the Vanuatu Financial Services Commission, and Seychelles with the FSA, which is the Financial Services Authority.
I'm sure that some of our traders or just some of the viewers might not be sure what it actually means to be regulated, what it sort of encompasses. So could you maybe lighten it up for us? Like, what does it actually mean for a broker to be regulated?
Sure. So for a broker to be regulated, it means that you're basically being monitored and you're under a jurisdiction that ensures that you're being compliant with the way that you handle your clients, client money, things like that. So it's pretty interesting with regulation. I always say that it's one thing it's important to be with a broker that's well regulated, especially in tier 1 jurisdictions like ASIC in Australia. But at the same time, sometimes you see some brokers that are regulated that still do the wrong thing. So while regulation is extremely important and it kind of ensures that the market's operating correctly and efficiently, it's also important to, I think, really know who you're working with, get to know the team of the broker that you're at. And yeah, once you're comfortable with both sides, then you can really make the decision of choosing the right broker to go with.
So to sort of sum it up, basically, the regulation for a broker is sort of like a green check mark for the client, that they can be more or less sure that there is nothing sketchy going on there.
I'd say so. And there's a lot of brokers out there. Some of them aren't regulated, and because there's so much choice for clients to choose from with the brokers that they can select, it's really important, I think, to choose a broker that's well regulated, because if you're with a broker that doesn't have any regulation, then there's no one that you can really complain to. For example, I somehow get calls probably a couple of times a week from different brokers saying, do I want to invest with them? And I have a lot of fun with them because I kind of know that they're really just trying to scam people, and I can see that they're going down that line, but they're clearly not regulated. And even there's a whole influx of brokers out there that are copying different brokers' websites and just changing the name and a few different things and trying to pass off as that broker. And they'll even show the regulation down the bottom, so it looks like they're regulated, but they're not. So it's also important to actually check the regulation, check the regulator's website and look at the number that the broker's regulated with, and basically make sure that they're actually regulated.
Okay, so for you guys watching, if you're gonna be choosing what prop firm to work with, what broker to work with, make sure that you do your homework and that you actually check the regulations, just like Jeremy said, on the actual website of the regulators. Now, moving on, my next question will be, which liquidity providers do you work with?
So with the liquidity providers that provide pricing to us, it really depends on the pair that you're trading, but especially with any of the Forex pairs, there's usually between 10 to 15 different liquidity providers that are pricing in. They include tier 1 banks such as UBS, HSBC, JP Morgan, Credit Suisse, etc. And then there's also non-bank liquidity providers such as LMAX, XCX, and Citadel.
What criteria do you use to choose your liquidity providers, or why did you choose specifically these?
So Global Prime isn't just a retail broker, it also services institutional clients as well. and a lot of them demand different things like very deep liquidity. Another thing you can do is, if your broker is offering a platform that shows the market depth, you can actually see how much liquidity there is at the top of the book. Basically, when the LPs or liquidity providers price in, they sit in a stack, and whoever's pricing at the top of the book the best price, that's usually where you're going to get hit, unless you get rejected and you can be passed on to the next liquidity provider. So if you're trading in size especially, it's important to know that your broker has a lot of liquidity on the top of the book, because it means that you're going to be able to, in most cases, hit that price and be filled at that price, versus a broker. And you see a lot of brokers these days that only have about 50K at top of book, which is about half a lot. So if you try and do anything bigger than that, then you start to see VWAP slippage, which is basically when multiple liquidity providers fill your order through the stack, and then you get the average of those prices. So yeah, for us, it's important to really have tier one liquidity providers that are pricing in. They're very competitive these days. And then you have non-bank liquidity providers like XTX and Citadel, who provide amazing liquidity as well. And sometimes they're even, better than the banks when it comes to fill rates. And yeah, it's one thing bringing on these LPs or liquidity providers, but it's another thing actually monitoring them. And for us, it's really quite simple, because we basically just look at how they're filling our trades and making sure that their fill rates are really high, because we've set liquidity that the liquidity providers can't actually slip the trade, which means they have to fill where they're pricing, otherwise it gets rejected. So for us, what we really monitor the most is the rejection rates of the LPs. If they're not performing well, then we'll have a conversation with them, and if they don't fix up their act, then we cut them and put someone else on to tidy things up.
Basically, what this means for the client, for the actual trader, is that the importance of finding good liquidity providers, or that your broker has good liquidity providers, is the fact that you're going to be able to be sure that your price actually gets filled at the best possible price for you and the most advantageous price for you.
Sounds about right. And understanding what that top of book liquidity that's available to hit really will give you the peace of mind that if you're trading in bigger sizes, that you're going to be able to hopefully get that price that you want.
Which is incredibly important if you're going to be trading with a prop firm, where you're going to be trading accounts worth a couple of $1 million. You're going to be opening positions with, let's say, even of sometimes more than 5-10 lots. I think those are the situations where it's incredibly important that the liquidity is there.
Yeah, I mean, even like a lot of brokers these days, when you see these super tight spreads, they're only showing 50K or $50,000 at the top of book, which means if you're trading more than half a lot, you're going to see slippage. So if you're seeing slippage on a lot of your trades, then and you're trading more than half a lot, say, and your broker has pretty tight spreads, then you can ask them to potentially show you what their order book looks like, to see if they've got decent liquidity at the top of the book.
All right, fair enough. That's a very good advice for the traders. Now, I want to ask, what's sort of the long-term plan for Global Prime? Where are you guys heading?
So we've been around for 10 years, and it's been an amazing journey so far. And there's a lot of different things that are coming up for Global Prime that will be revealed in the not too distant future. And I'm going to be excited to share what happens when that happens. But at the moment, one of the big focus for us is the platform side of things. So we offer a few different platforms for our clients. The retail traders like to trade on MT4 a lot, as we know. We also offer Trader Evolution and TradingView. So I personally really enjoy TradingView because it's a great charting platform. I know our clients love using it as well. And when you place a position on TradingView, you can actually also manage and view that position on Trader Evolution. So it's like two platforms for different purposes, I think, and for different types of traders. But you can definitely be able to manage on both sides, which is pretty cool. So that's really on the platform side of things. I feel like most of what our clients are looking for has been covered, but we're always on the lookout for more platforms potentially. And yeah, then really the next approach is on the crypto side of things. And that's really something that we're looking to launch with a bang very, very shortly. So look out for that.
All right, we're gonna be looking out for that. Just to add on top of that, I myself personally use the integration of TradingView as well, and I must say that I'm also very, very happy with it. It works seamlessly, and overall, I would say it's one of the best services that you guys offer that I'm personally most satisfied with.
Awesome. I'm really happy to hear it.
My next question is sort of, some clients think that we are perhaps an affiliate of Global Prime. So I just wanted to clear up and ask, what is the relationship between Lux Trading and Global Prime?
Sure. So Lux Trading is not a paid IB. It's not a joint venture. They're two separate companies. And from what I understand, and you can probably clarify this, that Lux really liked our trading model and the fact that when our clients are trading, all the trades go out to market, and we're not doing anything like booking or profiting from client losses. So off the back of that, I believe that's one of the big reasons why you chose to work with us, because from what I understand, a lot of these prop firms out there don't actually give their clients that win a prop account an actual live account to trade. So for a lot of these prop firms, they'll give you just almost like a demo account to trade, and you're not actually trading in the real market. So I think it's pretty important to know that your prop firm is really working with a broker that is putting the trades out to market, because as we all know, the B-book model comes with its own issues, and yeah, we've got a whole YouTube series on that as well. So
yeah, it's something that I sort of want to very lightly touch on a little bit later. And to continue your train of thought, you're completely right. The reason why we chose Global Prime is the fact that we wanted to go sort of a different direction that most of online prop firms go these days. We wanted to make sure that our interests are actually aligned with the interests of our clients. And I think for that, it is incredibly important to select a good broker. I think that's the bread and butter of a good prop firm, is working with a good broker. And that is simply for the reason that, like you said, as far as I know, you guys don't profit from our clients' losses. So therefore, the interests of us, our clients, and yours is all aligned, and I don't see any sort of conflict of interest there. And I think the clients, it is exactly what they need.
great. Yeah. Like I feel the exact same way.
Speaking on the topic of, traders using real accounts and the interest being aligned, how can our traders be sure that they are actually trading on real live accounts and not demo accounts?
Good question, Oliver. So usually if you go to a broker and ask them, do you book my trades, do you profit from client losses, on their live chat, they'll give you a bit of a blurb, and you won't really be able to prove it in any way whatsoever if they are actually sending your trades out to market. Since we started 10 years ago, we kind of came into this business, and I mean, Global Prime was already operating, and we were traders of Global Prime or clients of Global Prime, and they kind of gave us the keys to Global Prime. And from the get-go, there was no B-book over there. It was actual liquidity being sourced directly from liquidity providers. And we kind of looked at this and thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, we should show this to our clients somehow. So when we first originally started offering trade receipts, which is basically a receipt that shows you which bank priced your trade, it was quite simple. We just went into Prime XM or 10, depending on which bridge and aggregator we were using, and we took a screenshot which shows all the different information about the trade, how long it took to execute, which liquidity provider priced that trade, and other information that basically showed the clients that we were on their side, and we were just kind of being middlemen, passing their trades through to the market. I'd say about 4 years ago, we took this approach and really turned it up a level, where now these trade receipts are something that our clients can access from their client portal. And it's actually pretty impressive, I think, for people to go in there and have a look, because the information that we show inside there is very, very detailed. It shows the tick charts and where all the different liquidity providers were pricing at the time of your trade, kind of a few seconds before and a few seconds after, so you can assess your market impact on your trades if you had any. It also shows the order book, how long your trade took to execute, and a bunch of other information that can really help to really build the case, first of all, for the clients to understand that the trades are being passed through to the market. But another cool thing is it allows the clients to come to us if there's ever an issue, rather than, traditionally they'd go to their broker and say, hey, I got slippage on this trade, and then the broker has to send them whatever information they have. Whereas at Global Prime, you can have all that information up front, and you have the case to come to us and say, hey, look at these details. Something happened over here. Is there anything that we can look out for you? So it solves a bunch of different I guess, things for the clients, and they really enjoy the feature.
I think that is incredible, and I'm sure not a lot of brokers are gonna share that sort of detail with you, and
I don't think there's any.
I'm sure it takes a whole lot of confidence in the fact that you're actually doing the right thing to basically open your doors, open the windows to the clients and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. We have nothing to be ashamed of here. Come take a look. I think that is really respectable and definitely one of the reasons why we chose to work with you guys. Now, we spoke or just touched lightly on B-Book brokers. Now, we have talked about the fact that you are not a B-Book broker, but maybe if somebody doesn't know, could you just maybe shortly explain what a B-Book broker is and why is that not something that a client wants to work with?
So I'll preface this and say that we have a 10-part series on this whole subject, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of the people that have gone through it, it really opens up your eyes as to how this works. So if you want more details, you can look at it on our YouTube channel. But just in general, what a B-book means is that the broker is profiling the losing clients into a separate book called the B-book, and the A-book is where the winning clients go to. So if you're a winning client on the A-book and you've been, I guess, isolated as a winning client, then whenever you place a trade, that will go to the market. But if you're on the B book, the broker doesn't actually send your trade to the market. It internalizes that trade and holds on to it. So in the B book model, when a client loses $1,000, the broker makes $1,000. It's a bit of a generalization, but over time, that's kind of how it works. And if you win money from the broker, then you're winning it off the broker. And you can imagine if you're making money from your broker, then it's a bit of a conflict of interest. And yeah, you see a lot of different situations ranging from like the most nefarious, which is brokers that use the model to really have high pressure sales tactics to convince people to open up more trades, give really, really high leverage. The more leverage you have, the more risk there is of blowing up your account. And yeah, it's just to us, it makes it a lot simpler to have a model where we're just middlemen collecting commission and the trades are going out to market, and allows us to sleep at night, not running huge amounts of risk and, wondering where because, if you run a B book, then you obviously hold a lot of exposure and you're exposed to where the markets are going. So yeah, it allows us to sleep at night peacefully, and also really allows us to be on the same side as our clients and just not go down the rabbit hole of anything that could be a little bit dodgy.
My next question that I had written down was, what proof does Global Prime provide as to the fact that we are not on a B-Book account? But I think that's exactly what we talked about just a minute ago, where the trade receipts come in play.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we're going to continue with my next question, and that is, what do you think of the recent changes to the prop firm industry, Jeremy? How do you see that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting. I feel like the first prop firm that really popped up was FTMO, and they've had amazing success at really growing their business and have become like a formidable player in the space. And then just like everything else in this industry, you see a lot of different copycats doing very similar things. And yeah, over time, the ones that are doing things properly kind of continue doing good business, but there's a lot of them that have, from what I understand, shut down because they've, either had this kind of like demo account where it hasn't been real trading going out to the market. So you can imagine when clients make a whole bunch of money, but it hasn't gone out, the trades haven't gone out to the market, the prop firm has to pay them out. And if they don't actually have real profits because it hasn't gone out to the market, where's that money going to come from? So,
and recently we have been seeing some pretty huge withdrawal numbers.
Yeah. So yeah, you can imagine if you weren't actually, that profit wasn't real, then how are you going to pay those clients out? So really the people that want to use prop firms, I think, are either undercapitalized and they're really looking for that leg up. And if they can pass a challenge or whichever way the prop firm does things, it allows them to have access to that. So yeah, it seems like prop firms have become a bit like unregulated broker, giving clients access to like the market without oversight. A lot of like direct funding and no qualification and 100% profit splits. You see all these different models coming up. So everyone's trying to put their own spin on it.
So why then did you work? Did you decide to work with us, maybe compared to other prop firms? Because as far as I know, you don't just work with anybody that comes and knocks on your door.
Yeah, that's correct. We actually have quite a few prop firms that approach us and ask if we can work with them. But yeah, we're not really accepting any prop firms currently. And if we do want to work with a prop firm, then it's a prop firm that will exclusively offer live accounts after the qualification phase, and obviously with sufficient capital to meet our capital requirements and without exposing Global Prime to market risk. And yeah, Lux ticks those boxes.
So, what do you then think of the future of the prop trading industry?
It's a good question. I think most prop firms are designed in a way that kind of attempt to outrun like a black swan incident. Many financial institutions are the same. They all seem wildly profitable until a rare event occurs, and yeah, it seems maybe that the race for prop firms will be between regulators enforcing some requirements or licensing, registration, perhaps, um, or a black swan event, which can maybe kind of make a prop firm blow up, potentially if they have to pay out clients and they haven't actually gotten the profits, or maybe they could actually have real accounts and get stuck that way as well. So yeah, the prop firms really need to kind of balance and hedge their risk depending on their models. And yeah, just like everything else, you really see a lot of consolidation and regulations start to come in and put their own frameworks in for different, I guess, ventures that happen in the financial space, and prop firms is definitely one that's going to be a part of that.
I agree definitely on that point that I also believe that there's gonna come regulation sooner than later. It always does with these cases. And that sort of wraps up the part of questions that I had for you. Do you have any questions for me, Jeremy?
Yeah, maybe I can, while I've got you on the spotlight as well, ask you what's your opinion on prop firms that really provide demo accounts and don't go the actual real live accounts for their funded accounts?
So again, same as you said, we had a basically whole series that talks about this on our YouTube channel and many videos from many different angles. But what I think we can agree on is the fact that if the prop firm is paying you out from its own money when you win and not from the market, they have an interest in you not making as much or not making anything. So that's sort of the big first issue that I see as the conflict of interest between the prop firm and its own, what should be basically employees. So that's one thing over there. The second thing is if you're not working with live accounts, the sort of goal that we're looking for in Lux is to build a career for a trader. And with that comes audited track records from companies like KPMG, which is not something that you're ever going to be able to get if you've been trading a demo account. No auditor will ever give you a stamped track record from a demo account. So, you could be profitable at a firm for even 2-3 years, but let's say that firm goes bust in a black swan event, like you said, and what do you have after? There's no track record. You haven't been actually trading real funds, so you're basically starting your career again from zero.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it's almost like the same model in the, I guess, Forex industry, where you have the B book side of things and then a model like ours, which is more A book, putting trades out to market. That's really the same thing almost that's happening with some of these prop firms that provide demo accounts versus real accounts.
Basically, yeah, and it is practically identical to that.
Yeah. So I've got a couple more questions for you. So where do you see the prop firm industry heading? Do you have like maybe a different view to my answer, and any innovations that Lux is looking to potentially add that might separate themselves from some of the competitors?
So the way I see it, I believe that we're right now having this sort of wave of the whole B-book prop firms or the prop firms that offer demo accounts. But like we've talked about a minute ago, I think regulators are going to step in at some point, and there's going to be regulation which will require all of the accounts to be A-book, which I think will shorten the supply of prop firms out there for sure. And I think the necessary focus will be on actually what old proprietary trading firms were doing, and that is making sure that, or preparing their traders as best as they can. And we want to go down that route. And that's why lately we've been focusing on much more of one-on-one training with the clients. That we've prepared what we've called the Elite package. So we have the same program as most prop firms, where you can take an evaluation, and if you are able to follow the rules, the risk management, you'll be awarded a funded account. But what we saw was missing in the proprietary trading firm space was a program where even traders who are maybe not at that level yet can join, and basically they can have someone hold their hand and basically teach them how to do this. It is more pricey, but we think that the prop firm industry will go down, and we're starting to see prop firms pop up going that way, of much more having the education intertwined with the funding, basically going sort of the route of, I would compare it to football teams where they have their own academy and they train their own players. I think that's going to be the future for the prop firms, where the prop firms were going to basically grow their own traders inside.
That's pretty cool. It's almost like in Web3 or in some of these decentralized metaverse kind of scenarios, there's pay-to-play games, and there's these guilds that pop up where a team will come together, or they'll train people on how to make money inside these pay-to-play games. I should say, sorry, earn. Is it earn to play? Play to earn. Play to earn games.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the whole metaverse yet.
Yeah. It's another conversation altogether, maybe another interview, but it's pretty fascinating. I don't want to derail your conversation, but yeah, there's some cool stuff happening over there.
Fair enough. So that is, like I said, we believe that it's going to be much more about the regulation on one hand, and the focus on the trader, his education, risk management, and basically all the important parts of trading, that it's gonna eventually stop just being a race to the biggest profit split and the biggest payouts.
Cool, I like that. My final question for you is, how have you found working with Global Prime? Is there anything else that we could be doing to help you guys out?
So far, we've been nothing but satisfied. Our clients like the features. They love the ability to use TradingView, which you're one of only few brokers that offer at the moment. So we've had a lot of happy clients with that. So clients are happy, we're happy, the communication is great, the support from your agent is great. I have to give a shout out to Tom there, who I spent hours talking to. We've been absolutely satisfied with the partnership with Global Prime so far.
I'm really happy to hear that. Now, my final question is, do you have eyes in the back of your head to see that monitor behind you?
I don't, as a matter of fact. That's the direction I work. That's the direction I film. So
Yeah, nice.
I don't. Well, Jeremy, thank you very much for joining me on this interview. It's been a real pleasure and an honor to actually be able to meet you in person. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Oliver, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the interview and the chat. And yeah, anytime you want to have a chin wag, give us a buzz. Always available.
We will. And for you guys watching, if you want to learn more about Lux, feel free to reach out to our 24/7 live chat or email us at info@luxtradingfirm.com. If you want to learn more about Global Prime, head over to their website, globalprime.com. I'll be happy to see you in the next video. Have a great one.